So many years ago, there used to be a social networking site called Orkut. I was remembering our life journey, Riten and me, from where we began, where we came, how we experienced life together. All that I was remembering. So I recall that there was this Orkut site where he and I both had profiles. And I, when I met him first, when he was very new to me, he was not my husband. I had not lived with him. I did not know him so well like I know him now. And at that time, I wrote a poetry for him on his Orkut profile, describing him and my first impressions about him. And he was so simple, he let that poetry be there for some time. But he was embarrassed after some time because everybody read that poetry and they were teasing him and things like that. So after some time, he took out the poetry from there. And I remember asking him, why have you taken out the poetry that I wrote for you? I was not very happy with that gesture that he took out the poetry, but anyways, that's what he did. But now that Riten is not there between us, at least in his physical body, I went back to my history and from my records, I have been able to recall that poetry back. And I just wish I had the time to read out that poetry to him before he passed away. I should have done that. If I was very sure that he could hear me, probably I would have done that. But that is not what I was thinking on that day, on that night. My thought process did not go back to the happier days, right? I was more concentrating on making him feel loved, cared for, and that he's not alone and that he should be happy. That was my prime motive on that day when he was leaving us, in the process of leaving us. Anyways, I'll go back to the poetry and make sure that it's recorded with me for until I live. And these videos I'm making as a journal, not only I'm sharing with everybody just like that, casually, but actually the whole motive of making these video journals is for my own memory until I live. So here's the poetry that I once wrote for Riten. So again, I wrote this poetry for Riten in January 2008. Here it goes. The title of the poetry is This Is My Sweetheart. The purity of his soul is rare to find in the universe whole. He is shining as the first ray of dawn, and his smiles are as sweet as the rainbow crown. At the rate of 30 giggles per hour, he can make any room green with his nature shower. His honesty is the jewel of his personality, and that makes him different in this world of hypocrisy. Still, I find in him a perfect balance of diplomacy. Psychological strength, stamina, and adjustment reign in his every vein. But hold on, this is not all about this cutie pie. Topped with very superior intelligence, he is erudite and shy. This Bengal tiger, though may be difficult to catch, but indeed he is my most ideal match. Niharika.